I had burnout, and I think it was ADHD burnout, and I want to talk about going through that burnout. Sorry, I'm really sweaty right now. I've just taken the dog for a walk. Exercise, man, it's really important for our brains, isn't it? In the past, I've talked about being diagnosed and what it meant to me and how I sort of dealt with it. But one thing that's happened probably a year ago, and I'm going to put this down to ADHD as well. I've never found my job to be overly hard. I work in radio, okay, and I've done it for 27 years now. There is challenges to it. Obviously, it's quite a creative role, and you've always got to sort of be on. But it was after being diagnosed with ADHD where I actually realised, shit, this is doing something. Something is happening here. I work in a really busy, loud building, and it started getting quite hard to concentrate on what I was doing. So I would always have my noise-cancelling headphones while I programmed a radio station, and I'd leave them on. And I had to keep them on more and more and more because the sound of the office just got too much. And I felt like something was coming. I wouldn't say my job was too much. I could definitely have done more. I had 3 roles at the time across different areas. I was on air, I was training, and I was programming 2 radio stations. It all started to feel weird, and I don't know what did it. I think it was a bit of the RSD, is that what we call it? Bit of the rejection thing. I'd applied for something and didn't get through for certain things, but it had nothing to do with what I was going to continue doing. And that sort of hit me. And my body just went into fight or flight. And I don't know if it was fight or flight or stall or what it was, but something happened, and I got all this energy that I couldn't get rid of, and I couldn't sleep, and I couldn't sit still, and my brain was going a million miles an hour. And I had to say to my boss, look, I can't come into work. I need a little bit of time off. And it just got worse and worse. You know, I talked to doctors. It was just a horrible anxiety. I had no energy. I don't know. It was scary. It was scary. It was something my body had never been through, which had come out of nowhere. So I went away and stayed somewhere for a week. You know, I rented this really cool house, and that didn't do a thing. I left early. I said to the owners, sorry, I've got to leave earlier. This isn't working. Because I couldn't relax. I couldn't shut down. I was just wired. I couldn't eat, and that was a waste of time. So I came back home and you know, tried the medications, tried to switch around the Ritalin, which I'm on. It didn't work too much. Ended up doing some therapy and counselling through the EAP through my work, and talking to a lady there who that was really helpful and taught me to centre myself. Ultimately, I ended up going to a respite care home for 4 days. If you don't know what that is, it's something that is in most communities, and it's there for people that just need to just stop, and you go there and you're not allowed to work. You can have your phone and stuff, but you're not allowed to work, which is hard for me because I kind of want to get in there an hour and start changing music, but you had to stop. And that was super helpful. You had to stop, you had to think, you could take part in talking to people if you wanted. If not, you just slept. And that really helped me. I walked out of there going, okay, I feel a bit calmer now. I can sort of understand why my brain's doing what it's doing. I sort of put things in together, why it's happened. I came out of there and told work basically, look, I'm going to work from home and I'm going to cut my hours down. The important thing for me at that time was rest. My body was tired. I was exhausted. I had to stop, and I did. And most days I couldn't get out of bed, and all these other health problems happened. I've got ulcers in my stomach, all this other stuff, and it all just built up, right? I continue to work from home, and the more I work and take more time to myself, I realize how important time is. And you might think, oh, I'll take a week off and I'll be all good. And it might work for you. I've taken not taken it off, but almost a year. And I still don't think I'm ready for full-time work because I'm not wired like that. I'll tell you, when I started radio, I was 16 and I had that job till I was 30 or 31. And I was on a nighttime radio show, so it was just me and my co-host for the majority of the time in the evening. I wasn't in a loud, busy office, and I worked like 5 hours. So that's been the biggest chunk of what I've done. When I moved into a 9 to 5, it became pretty obvious very quickly that my brain and work style didn't work like that. So when I got to 9 to 5, it became pretty obvious. I would do all my work in the morning and get it done really well because, you know, how our brains work. We do sort of tend to strive for perfection, and we do a good job. And by lunchtime, I could be finished. I might have other stuff on and you know, be traveling for work quite a lot, which was great fun. But I'd get to the afternoon, and most people probably have this, and I'm not saying I'm special. 3 o'clock, I'd get to the afternoon and my brain would shut down. It would literally get to the point where I would go, if anyone's going to come up and talk to me, I'm going to sound like an absolute munter because my brain is so scrambled. I've oversensitized and I overstimulated myself so much that I probably can't talk. So I'd have my headphones on, hoping no one would come and talk to me because my brain was done. I was done. I was cooked. And there was nothing left for me to do for the rest of the day. Look at my watch. Is it 5 o'clock yet? Can I go home yet? Wasn't my working style. And to be fair, the company wasn't getting the best out of me because I'm sitting there for a few hours just because that's what you have to do. And I'm real lucky that my company have said, you know, I can do this work how I do it. Because it's so hard. If you've got ADHD and you are just sitting there and you're stuck in these time frames. See, I don't like time frames. I don't like having to be somewhere at a certain time. That freaks me out a lot. Like, we've got this barbecue thing coming up next week for my kids' school, and that's great. Like, it's awesome, and I want to do it. But I hate knowing that I just knocked the microphone. I hate knowing that I've got something that I have to do. And the day of it, which happens to all of us, you know, I can't do much that day because at 2 o'clock I've got to go and do this. So there's still that side of things to deal with. And I really love the freedom that I have of doing the work that I'm doing now. Burnout-wise, I wouldn't say that, mine is completely gone. You factor in 2 kids. You factor in the work that you're doing, which is fun. You factor in just the normal life stresses, how fucked the world is now, what's going on. I reckon everyone's priorities have changed. I really want more time to do things that I love and things I'm passionate about and be with my kids and just be in nature, try to get off my phone and just live a bit more and try and find some happiness that way. Try and find some, what's that stuff we need? I was going to say opioids. I don't want to find dopamine. Yeah. So I want to find dopamine in different ways, you know, not just from my phone or from eating or however us ADHD people get it. So I'll be really keen to hear your tips. What's your sort of extra dopamine tap? Where do you go that's not your phone? Another one for me is buying things. Like if I see stuff on Facebook, I'll just buy it. Don't tell my partner. I started playing golf the other day. Yep, another hyperfixation of mine. Hyper-focusing on it really bad, but I've bought all the gear. So I had to have golf shoes. I got a Garmin watch. I got everything. I've played twice. We'll get to that though. What's your dopamine hit? Anyway, nice to see you.